Casablanca. Time. Taduzri Hamno. Casablanca smells like spices, salt, and bad decisions. I smelled mostly like the third one. I was under the hood of the Beast, a modified Ford V8 truck with armor plating welded to the doors when I saw the Shadow. It was long, feminine, and holding a cigarette holder.
Your dash, Ryler.
The Shadow said, French accent, expensive, dangerous. I wiped the grease from my hands onto a rag.
Depends on who's asking if you're the bank I died last Tuesday.
I'm Colette, she said. Stepping into the light of the hanging bulb, she wore a white travel suit and red lipstick that looked like a warning sign.
And I need a driver who doesn't ask questions.
I charged double for no questions, triple for cargo that ticks. It doesn't tick, she said, motioning to the alley. Two large men carried a heavy lead-lined crate toward my truck. It hums. Lady, I haul whiskey and rugs. That crate looks like trouble with a capital T.
10,000 francs, she said, tossing a heavy pouch onto my workbench. It clinked with the sound of gold. Half now, half in Cairo!
I looked at the gold, then at the crate, then at the scars on my knuckles. Cairo is 3,000 miles of sand. Tuareg raiders and Nazis, I said. We'll never make it. We have to, she whispered, her eyes suddenly losing their cool veneer. The colonel is 5 minutes behind me. As if on cue, the garage doors exploded inward. A black staff car screeched to a halt outside. Men in gray uniforms and dust goggles poured out, MP40s raised. Ryler! Colette screamed, vaulting into the passenger seat. I didn't argue, I jumped into the cab and slammed the starter. The V8 roared like a waking dragon. Hang on, princess! I slammed the truck into reverse, smashing through the back wooden wall of the garage. Splinters and bricks rained down! Bullets pinged off the armored doors like angry hail. We spun out into the alley, tires screeching, and tore off toward the desert gate. What is in the box, Colette? I yelled over the engine. She looked back at the burning garage. The enigma of Seth, if the colonel gets it! He won't just win the war, he'll rewrite history! Great, I spat, shifting gears. I hate politics.
Location: Deep Sahara, the empty corridor. Time: Day 3 noon. The heat was a physical hammer, 120 degrees in the shade, and there was no shade. The beast was overheating, steam hissed from the radiator cap. We were parked on the crest of a massive dune, overlooking a valley of jagged rocks. "We need water for the radiator!" I said, my throat feeling like sandpaper. Colette was sitting on the running board, cleaning a Luger. She looked immaculate. "We have one canteen left. Dash, we drink it, or the truck drinks it! If the truck dies, we die!" I said, uncapping the canteen! I poured the precious water into the hissing radiator. It felt like a sin. "They're coming!" Colette said, pointing to the horizon. A cloud of dust, 3 vehicles, 6-wheeled Mercedes troop transports fast. "The colonel is persistent," I muttered. I climb back in, strap, and we're going down the steep side! That's a 60-degree drop. Physics is just a suggestion out here! I gun the engine and tip the truck over the edge. We slid down the dune, an avalanche of sand racing us to the bottom! The German trucks appeared on the ridge. They opened fire! Heavy machine gun rounds kicked up geysers of sand around us! FUD! A lucky shot hit our rear tire. The truck lurched, spinning out of control. We slammed into a rock formation at the bottom of the valley!
Silence. Then the hiss of steam. You okay? I groaned, checking my ribs. Colette nodded. Dazed, the crate checked the crate. I looked in the back. The lead lining had cracked in the crash. A pulsating purple light was bleeding out of the box. And with it, a sound. Whispers thousands of voices in a language that sounded like snakes hissing. It's waking up, Colette said, terrified, the vibration of the crash. It activated the core. What does it do? It calls the storm, she whispered. Suddenly, the sky went dark. Not from clouds, but from sand. A wall of black dust, a mile high, was rushing toward us. It moved against the wind. In the swirling dust, I saw shapes, faces, giant, hollow faces! The Connell's trucks are stopping, I noted. Even the Nazis were turning around. They know. Colette said, we can't outrun that. We don't have to! I said, grabbing the crate, it was burning hot! We just have to survive it into the caves! I pointed to a small opening in the rock face we had crashed against. We dragged the glowing crate into the cave just as the world outside turned into a screaming black void!
The cave was quiet, insulated from the howling apocalypse outside. The purple light from the crate illuminated ancient paintings on the walls, men worshipping a black sun. This isn't a cipher machine, I said, looking at the artifact. It was an obsidian skull with circuitry carved into it. This is Atlantean, Colette admitted. Or older, the Nazis think it's a weapon. I was trying to get it to the Americans to destroy it. Touching, a voice echoed from the cave entrance. We spun around. The Iron Colonel stood there. He wore a gas mask and a long leather trench coat. He held a flamethrower. 2 soldiers stood behind him. You led me to a nice shelter, Herr Ryler. The Colonel's voice was muffled and metallic. And you opened the box, Danke! You can't control it, Colette said. It feeds on aggression. I have plenty to spare, the Colonel laughed. He triggered the pilot light on his flamethrower. Step away, or burn. I looked at Colette, then at the skull. The whispers were getting louder. It sounded hungry. The Colette, I said softly, duck. She didn't hesitate. She dropped. I kicked the crate hard. It slid across the smooth stone floor right toward the Colonel. Catch! I yelled! The Colonel instinctively looked down.
The obsidian skull flared with blinding light. The storm outside didn't just stay outside, it wanted the source! A wind suddenly sucked into the cave, creating a vacuum. The colonel's flamethrower stream was pulled backward right into his own face! He screamed as the fire engulfed him. But that wasn't the worst part. The shadows on the wall detached themselves, the spirits of the storm. They swarmed the burning man and his soldiers, pulling them into the darkness of the storm outside! Hold on! I yelled, jamming my knife into a crack in the floor. I grabbed Colette's hand. We hung there for an eternity while the ancient forces cleaned house! Then, as quickly as it started, it stopped. The skull cracked into dust. The light died. The storm vanished. We were left in the dark, smelling of ozone and burnt leather. I clicked on my lighter. The cave was empty. No Carlo, no soldiers, just the empty lead box. Well, I exhaled, lighting a cigarette with shaking hands. That's one way to clear a room. Colette slumped against the wall, laughing hysterically. You kicked a cursed Atlantean artifact at a Nazi with a flamethrower. Strategy. I shrugged. So, about that second half of the payment. She looked at me, her hair wild, face smudged with soot. She looked beautiful. The gold was in the truck, she said, which is probably buried under 10 feet of sand now. Of course it is. I sighed. I hate the desert. I can make it up to you, she said, walking over. She took the cigarette from my lips and took a drag. I know where there's a sunken U-boat off the coast of Malta full of gold bullion. I looked at her. I looked at the exit where the sun was starting to shine again. Malta! I mused. Lots of water. No sand. Lots of water. She agreed. All right. I grinned, offering her my arm. But this time, I drive the boat.